75% of consultants struggle to generate leads consistently. Having a pipeline of opportunities in business is really the lifeblood of every consulting business. So in this video, what I'm going to do is break down and show you how you can create a roadmap to developing a marketing strategy and system that will allow you to bring in more high quality leads consistently into your business. We're going to go over a few different pillars and I'll explain the importance of each one and how you as a consultant can think about implementing these into your business. So the first pillar to consider is really around focus and ideal client clarity. This is all about getting very clear about who your ideal client is. And there's a few different ways that you can think about this. The first is in terms of specialization and industry, right? How do you actually define the expertise and the market that you want to go after? Another question that I like to pose to our clients for them to consider is, what do you want to be known for? Like, really think about that. What do you want to be known for? And that is all about your focus. If you try and go too broad and try and say that you can provide all things to all people, or that you can work in too many different industries, or you work with many different types of people, while all of that may be true and likely is, it's not going to benefit your business because you're going to spread yourself out, right? Any message that you develop is not going to resonate with any ideal client because that message won't be specific. It won't be speaking to one type of person or one specific type of industry. So the first consideration, and we won't go into all the details of this because we won't have time just for this one video, but one of the first considerations for you is, where do you want to place your focus? Who is the real dream client? And it's important for you to think about this because not all clients are considered equal. If you are in the business for a period of time, you will actually start to see that certain clients you are able to generate better results for. Other types of clients are more profitable. Others you enjoy working with more. But early on, and if we talk about from the marketing kind of strategy and developing a system side of things, you want to look at where will you see the greatest response? Where do you have access? Your network? Who can you tap into? Where do you already have a track record of delivering results? Because all of that will help you to see typically greater traction and more momentum early on in your marketing, right? So rather than pushing kind of a big boulder uphill to try and reach a new market or a type of client that you've never done business with, you don't really know much about, think about where you already have a strength. So instead of trying to compensate for weaknesses, right, focus on your strengths. So the first pillar, right, is ideal client clarity, getting very clear on who your ideal client is. And it's not enough just to talk about industry. It's not enough to just talk about the type of company, because at the end of the day, your clients are people, not companies, not organizations. So you need to get very granular and identify who is your ideal client at the person level, their title, their geographic location, any kind of demographic information. You know, what are the main problems that are top of mind for them? All those details become very important as we move to the next pillar in the marketing system process. And that is what we refer to as your marketing message, or we like to actually call it the magnetic message. So this is a message that you develop that gets the attention, interest of your ideal clients. What's important for you to remember is that today, your ideal clients, who are typically going to be busy executives or senior level people, they have more noise. They have more people vying for their attention than they've ever had before in history, right? Every day they open up their email when they wake up in the morning, and they have literally hundreds of emails, and that just continues to accumulate throughout the day. People are sending them messages on LinkedIn, most of it's junk and spam. They see ads on every website that they go to. They get more ads and things of that nature in podcasts. So we're all surrounded by all these options and variations and essentially brands and people trying to interrupt the executive that you are also trying to interrupt. Now, you might think interrupt is a negative word, but it's not really, because you need to interrupt. You need to stop what the person, get them to stop what they're doing so that they can pay attention to what you have to say. Now, the key to this is that it's not interrupting from the perspective of doing something bad. It's not a negative, it's actually a positive, because you want to interrupt somebody, you want to get their attention so that you can show them how you may be able to help them, right? This is actually doing it in the service of the ideal client. It's not just doing it for the benefit of your own business, right? When you understand that the ideal clients that you want to work with, they have a problem where they want to create a certain level of result, they want to get to that next level. And if that is important to them, and if you truly can help them, right, then you have a responsibility to let them know. You can't force anybody to do anything, but you can guide them in the right direction and at least let them know how you may be able to help them. So let's come back to the magnetic message for a moment. The magnetic message is the message that you put on your website, your LinkedIn LinkedIn profile, in your marketing materials, when somebody says, what do you do? It's how you respond. And the magnetic message is composed of 3 parts, right? So the formula that we teach is, who is your ideal client? What problems do they have and what results do they desire? And the third W is why, right? So who, what, and why. And why refers to why should they do business with you? Why should they even care about what you have to offer? And this is all about you bringing the differentiation or what is unique about you. And there's different ways to think about that, from a guarantee to if you have maybe a certain process or patents or a certain level of results, or you've worked with different types of clients that are well known. But when you combine this formula, when you use this formula to create a compelling magnetic message, what you will find is that people will raise their hand, right? Maybe not actually raise their hand, but they'll virtually signal that they are interested by saying something like, that's interesting, tell me more, or how does that work? Or I think we should have a conversation about that. Or that's something that we are planning to discuss. And yes, I would like to schedule a time to speak with you. That's the goal of your magnetic message. Now, if you want to learn more about developing a magnetic message and how to get true clarity on your ideal client, and get help to develop your marketing system, head over to consultingsuccess.com and you can learn more about the different programs and resources that we have for consultants to help them to grow their businesses. But let's get back now to the next pillar. So the next pillar is all about the actual marketing and how to demonstrate your expertise to the marketplace. Another way that I like to think about this is demonstrating value. And one of the best ways for you as a consultant and firm owner to demonstrate value to the people that you want to actually work with and serve and attract as ideal clients is through content. And so think about developing long form articles, or it could be a podcast, it could be videos like the one I'm doing right now. But the main thing, the format itself isn't as important as making sure that what you create gets in front of the actual ideal client and that it's truly valuable, right? If you just share general information, then there's nothing that's going to differentiate you or give an advantage to you over anybody else that might be sharing that general information. Right? Most organizations are filled with people that have general information. Most information online is very general. But when you show up and you provide valuable information that somebody goes like, wow, that was really valuable. What you're actually doing is you are selling without selling, right? You're selling through demonstrating your expertise and your knowledge, and you're giving real value, but your content needs to be at that level, right? It can't just be surface level information. It needs to be deeper, more thoughtful. You need to bring in, data. There's many different ways of going about ways that you can do this, I should say. But the key thing is to put yourself in the position of your ideal client and then ask, would they find this interesting? Would they find this valuable? Would they want to keep coming back or pay attention when I share additional information? And if you look through that lens, you'll almost always be able to pick up if what you've created, let's just say that you've written a long form article and you look at it and go, well, it's actually like I'm kind of regurgitating what everybody else is saying, or there's nothing really new in this. So this is just high level principles, but there's no real nuance or no opinion or nothing that really adds value. Well, that's an opportunity then for you to go, I need to rework this. Because the moment that you really lead with value, when you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, and in this context, what I mean by that is that you're not worried about giving away some of your best ideas, right? The more that you can give away, the more you actually find that people come to you. And I found this over 2 decades of building consulting businesses and writing hundreds of articles and giving lots of talks, and the Consulting Success podcast now is I think almost 400 episodes. So we give away a lot of information. I've written multiple books. There's plenty of content that we give away, and we recognize that some people will consume that content and think to themselves, great, we have a bunch of information and they can go off and apply it themselves if they want. But we know that there's also gonna be a good number, enough people that look at that and go, this is really great free information or very low cost information, but I would actually like to work more closely with these people. That's why we have every month, over 100, sometimes 140 plus people applying for our Clarity Coaching Program, because they see the value of getting one-on-one help and custom help and a growth plan and support and community to go beyond where they are. So I'm just sharing all of that just from the context of, don't be afraid to give away some of your best information. You don't have to show people how you do everything, but don't be afraid to share valuable information and ideas and experiences that you have, because the more that you do that, the more that you're actually demonstrating your expertise, and therefore the more people that will start to see you as an expert, and you're selling right without selling, which for many consultants, they don't like the idea of marketing and selling. So being able to do that through your content, whether you're giving a talk, an long form article, podcast, a video, these are all really good things to do. Now, the other benefit too is that when you do this, not only are you demonstrating your expertise and giving value, but you're also creating much more visibility for you in the marketplace. And as you create more visibility, this starts to compound. And then when people are searching for you or for a keyword related to the work that you do online, there's a much greater chance that you're going to come up, and that will also help to influence their decision. Now, the other part around content that's really important to think about is leverage, right? Leverage in this context refers to you being able to get in front of one group, and that group, right, or that organization exposes you to tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of your ideal clients. So here's a real world example. I've given many talks to different consulting associations around the world. Now, why does that make sense? Well, through one relationship with one consulting association or organization, they now put me in front of their members, and their members in many cases are our ideal clients. And so if I give one talk, that might put me in front of 50 people or 100 people. If I do one webinar, that might put me in front of, hundreds, if not 1,000 plus ideal clients all in one go. And these kinds of relationships exist in many different ways. It could be a relationship with a software organization that serves your ideal clients. It can be an industry or professional organization. It can be a conference or some kind of speaking opportunity. It could be a podcast that your ideal clients listen to. But that's leverage. And it's a very powerful part of the marketing system and marketing strategy that if you're not already using, I would highly encourage you to think about and look at how you can bring that into your own business. Now, the next pillar is what we'll describe as tracking and analysis and even data. So as you start taking action with your marketing, right, you're pushing your marketing forward, you're getting out there, you're maybe having conversations, you're giving talks, you're writing articles, you're doing the marketing stuff that you've decided to do based on what's going to get you in front of your ideal client. You're going to start to see that you're going to accumulate data. You're going to be able to track that, you went to one conference and you gave a talk and you generated 5 leads. You did one podcast and you got 20 leads. You record one video and you got only 1 lead, or you wrote an article and it got published in a certain place and you've been getting one high quality lead every week for the last 3 months, right? Those are just examples, hypothetical, but these are the kinds of things, not with those exact numbers, right? They might be higher or lower for each one, depending on the consultant, who the ideal client is, and a whole bunch of other kind of variables and circumstances. But the main thing is that your activities create feedback. Your activities create data. And so as you start to become more established and you're moving forward with your marketing, you want to pay attention to the data. You want to start to analyze what is working and what isn't. So the same way that a consultant that is early stage might find themselves working with many different clients and many different types of organizations of different sizes and industries and so forth, and providing different services, over time you're going to start to see that some of those clients, some of those services, and some of the fill in the blank is a lot more profitable than the others, right? And you'll see greater demand, as I mentioned earlier in the video. This analysis can help you to make better decisions. We had one client that we worked with in our Clarity coaching program that was already doing about $800,000 a year. And they came to us because they felt like their marketing wasn't working, right? They knew they had significant potential to grow. We analyzed their projects. We analyzed together with them their different clients, and what they found in their specific situation is that the majority of they had a lot more clients that were smaller, but even though they had more clients that were smaller, the total revenue and profit from those clients was actually less than the few larger clients that they had. So that gave us a lot of information to say, you should actually think about restructuring and repositioning your business to focus just on the larger companies because they make up significantly more profit for you. And so that means you can update your magnetic message. That means you can update who your real ideal client is. Everything in the business can now be reoriented and positioned and focused where you're going to see much greater benefit. If they didn't track, they wouldn't know that. It's the same thing for you in your business, right? So when we talk about your marketing, you want to make sure that not only are you doing marketing, but you're looking at what is working and what isn't, right? The typical rule to follow is do more of what is working and do less of what isn't. Now, if you want to learn more on how to grow a consulting business, go to consultingsuccess.com. We have all kinds of resources, articles, programs specifically for consultants to help you to take your consulting business to that next level, to build a marketing system, to attract more clients consistently, create a more robust pipeline, or if you want help on how to increase your fees or create more capacity or scale your consulting business. That's what we do all day long with consultants. So head over to consultingsuccess.com.